And we're live! Hello and welcome to a special edition of Hex Therapy Live. I'm your host, Maddie ALLin, and tonight we're going to be talking about the topic of Hex Dad, Poor Dad, which is a play off of Robert Kiyosaki's best-selling book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And so you can already tell how this is going to go. We got a good show for you tonight. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit the intro. Thank you for joining. Hit the like and subscribe button. Download Staker app now. So I couldn't get Robert Kiyosaki to come on the stream today, but I have somebody way more important to Hexicans who's here now. Welcome our special guest.
Hello guys, happy to be here. Matthew told me that I could do a special appearance on this show, and I said why not? Right? We are currently traveling. It's a bit late, but I said okay, I need to say hi to beloved Hexicans and share a bit of the wisdom of that Robert K is bringing to the table. So I haven't read his book, but I've heard him enough in different interviews. So my reading of his philosophy is that life is a game, and different people in the world have learned how to optimize that game, and he's basically sharing in his book how to use different tools to play the game to its fullest. So there's different strategies. Is focusing a lot into using debt to your advantage. And so yeah, if you don't know about Robert Kiyosaki, I would suggest just to listen to some of his interviews or even read his books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
And I did a Twitter poll and I asked Hexicans, what's the #1 book you would recommend that we read? And people said Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And so that's why I wanted to dedicate this episode to those of you who have started your financial literacy. And I wanted to shout out Steph of Staker app because he has done incredible things for Hexicans' financial literacy. And his background is actually in emerging literacy when it comes to creating a Google app to help people with reading for the first time. Is that right?
Yeah, I think there's different ways basically that you can share, the principle that, Robert is sharing his books or others are trying to share when trying to basically step up everybody's game when it comes to financial literacy. And so you can use strict instructions, you can share your experience like Robert is doing, or you can use meme or analogies for people to think a bit more long-term, to delay gratification, to use short-term incentive to put yourself in a future projection of your life, and so that's what we're attempting to do with the Staker app. We started with this notion of leagues, and then we're moving with our upcoming V2, with the new notion of dreams, because investing is just more than raw numbers on the screen. It's the way you transform something that you have in mind, a project, an aspiration, a dream, into something tangible. So this is where we're going. We're going to be asking our users, what they're dreaming about, what do they want from themselves in 5, 10, or 15 years, and we just want to help them in that journey. So yeah, stay tuned. Thanks, Maddie, for having me.
And this is, this
a very
is
short time, but
this is a form of therapy. And I think history will look back on this stream and many others and recognize Steph as the visionary that he is, as somebody who's probably going to have more of an impact on people than Vitalik, than maybe even Robert Kiyosaki himself, because Steph, he's creating the future of finance where people are able to pay their future selves instead of borrowing from their future selves. And that's that's a really important thing. And so thank you all for, for supporting Staker App. I know my Staker referral link is $hex.com. And you may have your own Staker referral link too, but go to staker.app and check it out. The new version, it's coming out soon, and it's going to be more than you can dream of.
And one thing, I'm about to leave because I got a few things I need to do now, but one thing I want to share with you guys, just to get you inspired, is like, this is the first time I'm meeting in person Maddie, and we had a fantastic night surrounded with fantastic people. So what Hex is doing, it's just more than a financial investment. It's more than delayed gratification and changing your mindset when it comes to investing in your futures. It's about community, about sharing expertise, sharing ideas, building new relationship, and trying to dream bigger. So this is what we've been doing tonight. Try to dream bigger, right? We have ideas, ambition about what the future might look like. But yeah, we have a very incredible community where people are pushing each other to be the best version of themselves. So I just gonna leave on that note. And if you have anything that you want to realize in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, you're probably not dreaming big enough. So dream bigger. Thank you, guys.
Epic. Awesome.
Bye, Matty.
Yes.
I need to go.
All right.
So guys, have a good stream.
So we're going to continue, and I'm going to break down the Hex Therapy for this week, because we've been doing Hex Therapy for many weeks now. I think this is the 46th week. And I'm just so excited to have Steph coming on as a cameo, as an appearance. And who knows who else will be on the show in the coming days. So make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and stay tuned, because it's going to be a good show. And I appreciate everybody shouting out for the Brazil jersey. I appreciate that. I went to Brazil a couple of years ago, and I had a fantastic time. And I realized that wearing jersey t-shirts is actually, that's the best form of being retired. That's the best form of winning. And so personally, for me, that's what I do. Yes, that was the creator of Staker App. And, some people, they're wondering like, oh, wasn't Maddie trying to compete with T-Share app? The truth is, we're all making products that can help people in different ways. And so the more things that you can try out and the more front ends that you're comfortable using, right, the better, as long as they're trusted sources. And so, Steph and I were as cool as cucumbers. I was really excited to have him guest appear. And that's right, Latin American crypto. Hex community is changing the world. We've gone international, and we're not giving up. We're out here doing our job evangelizing, right? And Hexicans may have seen today, in fact, Discourse Syndicate premiered their trailer video for a Hex documentary. And I can confirm there are many Hex documentaries being made now. There have been flocks of documentary crews chasing after all the Hex streamers and all the content creators, because they recognize that we're going to be on the right side of history. And so let's see here. Hello to everybody in the chat. Far Out Aliens, Hexagonal Domino, Shrimps Only One, Nick Green, Hex Machine, BA, talking about the Magic Carpet Ride. That's right. Why do I need Staker App? Well, Staker App gamifies the league system, and it allows you to buy and stake all in one app. Now, T-Share app, we try to make that available as well. And in the future, we will hopefully also have a mental health mode where people can choose to only check the price after they've done a mental health task, such as esteeming yourself. And so there's going to be a lot of different use cases for Hex. But at the end of the day, everybody who uses Hex through staking will experience the power of paying your future self. My pleasure. I love my work. Now that I'm retired as a therapist, I get to educate all you awesome people out there, and to have awesome guests on and to try to bring more ideas to the space. So I appreciate it. Got our Hex movie star here. Shout out to you. And let's see. I know Hex is pumping right now. I'm not going to call it the Hex Therapy pump, but it is a nice 11% up. Let's do it, Dean, DK. Let's go. More ways for cash flow from Hex. Yeah, and you guys have obviously heard about Funding Jim, aka Gary, and his work. Like, he is talking to Robert Kiyosaki. He is in that group of people who have a lot of influence, have a lot of billionaire energy. And, Hexicans, we get together and all we're doing is brainstorming how we can pump your bags, how we can bring more financial freedom to people. Personally, I would love to see more people with $100 to get in before people with $1 billion to get in. But we're going to wait and see how that works out, because it's anybody's game at this point. Here in the UK, can't sleep, 2 amped. Very good. D, Hexistentialist. That is a very good name. Hexicans, expensive taste. E-streaming myself, like broccoli. And we've got somebody other than Melv Tony in the chat displaying the price at 47 cents. Very good. Crypto King, good to see you. We need to get Bill Pulte on board. He's a philanthropist on Twitter that gives away his money to people in need. We need him to give away Hex. That would be outstanding. I would love to see people giving away Hex, especially if it's already time locked. C, encapsulated stakes coming soon, I hope. Let's see. We've got another person other than Melv Tony, and other than straight Euphemy. It is now is also giving us the price, which is helpful. Kevin Reyes says, these live streams teach me so much about Hex. Thank you. My pleasure. And I know everybody in the Quant Gang, we feel really blessed to have a platform where we can go and make special episodes, where we can make shows week after week on Tuesday nights and try to break down the math and help people understand how much confidence that they can have in Hex. Because I think a lot of people think that Hex is a risky investment just because it's gone up so much. And that's a reasonable assumption. I don't want to shame anybody. The reason why I named this episode Hex Dad, Poor Dad is because the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad preaches financial literacy more than anything else. And while I may not agree with every aspect of that book, I still believe that it has an important lesson to teach, that Hexicans over anybody else have already read the book and been inspired by it. And that tells me that there's a group of people out here who already have the right staking and the right crypto in mind. They've already done the work that they need to do to find the right crypto. And the financial literacy is important. And I think that's why people watch the show. Whether you've already staked a lot or whether you've staked a little, I think people, they want Hex Therapy. Well, because you heard Richard Hart earlier today, shouting it out and saying that this is an important topic. And I can't wait until there's so many streamers talking about sudden wealth syndrome. But for now, I feel a responsibility to come on and to talk about my own experience, to talk about how weird it can be whenever you've achieved your dreams. And now it's time to dream bigger. And that's one of the reasons why I love hanging out with Steph and other members of the Staker App team, because even though I'm competing with them, right? Even though I made T-Shirt app as a front end, and you should check it out, you should go to go.tshirt.app. Or if it's a little bit confusing, you can go to tshirt.io if you're a brand new user. That way you won't get confused about downloading something from the App Store, which we don't have on there. But basically the idea is I appreciate Staker App because they care about dreams, because that's their platform. And I think in Hex, the reason why so many people are doing so well in Hex is because we've learned how to pay our future selves. And that comes with unintended consequences. I can thank my past self, as I know many Hexicans can. And yet, even though we knew what Hex could do, and even though we predicted that it would go up rapidly in price, we didn't realize it would go up so fast, so quick. And so it's really exciting to see where Hex is. And of course, Wales and I, we predicted on the first episode of Quant Gang in early February, we said $10.01. That price was not very well supported by the community. People didn't understand why we were making that prediction. I was making it because Richard Hart's random line was going up and to the right so much that that's what it showed. And Wales only, he was looking at his own charts and graphs. He was adding his own value. And so when we converged on that number of $10.01, we put it in the thumbnail to prove exactly what we were on, episode 1 of Quant Gang. Kareem joined organically. We didn't plan it ahead. It was his birthday, right? So we had all this synergy. We had everything that we needed. And look at what's happening. Our dreams are manifesting. And so now it's time to dream bigger. It's time to dream bigger than $10.01. And that may not come before the end of the year because we're not going to adjust such a super awesome prediction. But by the next Hex conference, I could see it being way higher than $10. And that's just in March. That's just 3 months after the end of the year. So we are going to see what Hex can do as a coin that goes viral, I believe, in the next month or two. It's not a promise. It's not financial or therapy advice. But what we're doing is we're breaking down our own free speech. We're breaking down our own opinion. And, I think a lot of people tuned in for this special episode with Kareem just a few days ago. And, we had 5,000 or 6,000 people watch just a pop-up episode with Kareem and I explaining how insane his delayed gratification is. It's something that I never would have guessed because Kareem, he's a very confident guy and, he lays out a plan that other people can follow. But the fact that he does not have one Hex stake coming out for the next 10 years, all of his stakes are between 10 and 15 years. He lives on a monthly budget only. He's not holding on to a bunch of Hex liquid so that he can sell it. Kareem is the perfect example of someone who is delaying gratification and setting the example for other people in Hex to dream bigger, okay? And Kareem, he, just like Steph, he has a vision for inspiring people to dream big dreams. And I'm over here just, your old Hex therapist, trying to advocate for people dreaming bigger from the beginning. And that's a big ask, because when we tell people that $200 a year and a half ago turned into $2 million now, that hurts a lot of people's heads, and it makes them not want to invest in Hex, paradoxically enough. And so the more ways that we can find to onboard people, and the longer we can get people to stake, I think the more people will protect themselves from themselves, right? Imagine somebody buying Bitcoin below 1 cent and then going up 5 million X, 10 million X. Nobody made it. Everybody sold out, except for maybe Richard Hart, maybe a couple other people, but we can see on the chain when people sold their coins. And it's not looking good for Bitcoin, although it is looking much better for Hex. We had Clay Collins this week, who is the CEO of nomics.com. He was asking on Twitter a bunch of excellent questions about Hex, trying to understand what the liquidity is. In fact, I'm going to bring up my response tweet because I think I did my research, and I think you can do your research too and decide what you think about kind of this perspective that I took. But there are actually a number of angles that Clay was looking at that are important. It's going to take me just a second to pull this up. But the reason why the Hex community likes Clay Collins so much as the CEO of Nomics is because he has publicly stated that he's in it for the truth. And Hex is a truth engine. If I were to name a documentary of Hex, the only name that I would choose would be Truth Engine, because people in the world will come to know Hex as something that helps set the truth free. Hex is a truth engine at its deepest core. And many of us in the Hex community, especially Hex streamers, have spent a lot of our time trying to understand where these massive gains have come from ever since Hex has done a 10,000x return in 1.75 years, compared to Ethereum, which did a 10,000x in 2.5 years. And, you know, Richard Hart, he was derided, he was mocked. He was put down because he told the truth. And so the truth is going to come back and bite all the YouTubers who took bribes to pump coins that were simply promises. Hex will stand out compared to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the other promise coins because it doesn't need any more development. And yet it has a community of stakers that's here for over 15 years, that's growing by the day. We have 62,000 people in Hex. And as many people as that is, it's still a small number. And so you're still early. So the price of Hex can go much, much higher because it's designed better than Bitcoin, which did a 6 million X. So Hex being in a 10,000X sounds pretty good, but there's still a lot of opportunity to come. I'm going to scroll back through these comments, and I'm going to bring up Clay's Twitter. I'm going to share the screen here. And I am running on a new operating system, and it does not want me to share. Give me just a second here. Thank you for your patience. I know you're all delaying gratification anyway through Hex. I do not want to quit and reopen. Okay, it looks like I'm not going to be able to share the screen here, but I will be able to read what it says. So Clay says, Dear Hex Army, genuine, honest question. With only 10% of Hex locked or staked, why does Hex have 0.6% of the volume of Cardano and 0.05% the volume of ETH? ADA, Cardano, has 166x the volume, and ETH has 2000x the volume, trying to grok the market cap to volume ratio. Okay, and many Hexicans commented. Let's see, Richard Hart replied with the stats for USDT, which is obviously manipulated, right? This is important. This is super important because it helps us understand what the malincentives are in the market. If we want to fix the money and fix the world and program mental health into money, we have to have healthy money to start with. In the fiat system, it's no good. In the crypto system, it's no good because it's corrupted by centralized exchanges. Not the reason why crypto was created is actually antithetical to that. Richard says here, quoting his own tweet from June 14th, volume is a measurement of how rich exchanges and market makers are getting on the backs of users. Users lose money on quote unquote volume. Often in crypto, it's entirely fake as hell. That's why on-chain exchanges are so cool. You can see the real traders and users and what else they have. That's right. I'm just going to share my comment here. I said, of 140 million homes in the United States, 6.5 million traded hands in 2020. That makes the yearly volume 4.6%. or 0.01272% volume per day. When you start a 15-year promise to yourself, then you keep it, that equals no volume. Truth engine. Hex, Nomics Finance, Richard Hartwin, Quant Gang, Kareem, Whales Only, Future Us, Gerardo. That pretty much breaks it down, right? Because the idea is that Hex, being so valuable, is not incentivizing people trading and getting wrecked on fees or trading and getting wrecked on volatility. The ideal behavior in Hex is to pay your future self. Thank you to ALLin for the $5 super chat. I came here for the wealth and stayed for the education. Go, Maddie, go. My pleasure. Thank you. Grateful to be in this before everyone starts to know about Hex. Absolutely. When snapshot? Well, I know that Richard announced that the testnet is going live soon, and then the announcement of the snapshot for Pulse Chain will happen next. And then the actual snapshot will occur. We want to give as many people as possible the time to participate because they will become likely active users of Pulse and of Hex. The reason why people watch Hex Therapy is not only because I provide therapy insights, but also because I'm focused on the macro game theory of Hex, the macro psychology. I want to understand how we can use financial tools to help people become their best self and to change their own behavior in ways that they want. And so I've kind of alluded to this, if not said it straight out, but I will say it again because I really like giving you guys secret insights, whatever you want to call them. This is stuff I'm studying, right? And it seems like the more people study Hex, the more interesting it gets, right? It's a rabbit hole that goes so deep, we're not really sure where the bottom is. What I'm seeing now is the possibility that Pulse Chain will incentivize people to gamble whatever Hex coins they have in order to make Hex more rare. And so if you think of Pulse and the degenerate trading that can occur on that platform with low fees, people speculating on NFTs, on leverage trading, right? With nothing to slow them down. I believe this is part of the design in order to separate people with poor delayed gratification from their Hex. So I believe that the more we can educate people about locking their Hex now in order to pay your future self, that's kind of the move that I see. It's kind of the opportunity. It's impossible to know, but again, we're just kind of using logical inference. We're using what Richard Hart has said before. He said people get scammed, people trade. That's bad behavior. Why would you reward bad behavior? Why not reward good behavior? And so that's really what Hex does when people are staking. And when people, when they come on QuantGang or when they come in the comments and they're unsure of staking, that makes sense. Listen, I felt terrible when I made my Hex stakes because paying your future self is hard. And yet I see many Hexicans, including myself, super grateful to our past selves. And so that's why we want to communicate that energy, because people who are coming after us will have a greater opportunity. People think, oh, the original Hexicans got a 10,000x. That would be nice, right? But we're pre-viral. And so, just like Richard says, it's hard to imagine how high the price of Hex could go. But a lot of people, they did not play their cards right in the first 10,000x. How are you going to play your cards in the next 10,000x? It's up to you. And Hex, being a truth engine, will reward you the more you believe, in my opinion, in Hex terms. The longer you stake, the more T-shares you get, and the more interest you earn daily. It's that simple. My pleasure. I spent 40 to get the app, so only 60 left out of that 100. I feel you. I bought my first Ethereum. People know the story, but I'll say it again for the new people. Bought my first Ethereum. It was $12.50, and Coinbase charged me a $7.50 fee. So if you work out the math, I think that's about 40%. It's an outrageous fee, and I don't support it. At the same time, that one Ethereum that I bought now is worth $3,000 or $4,000. And so remember that the premium that you pay to obtain Hex now, I know it sucks. I know that's why we all want Pulse Chain to come out, so we can get penny transactions again. At the same time, I wouldn't advise people waiting to buy Hex, because going viral is kind of imminent, in my opinion. I don't like that it's not going to let me share my screen, because now I want to share all kinds of screens. Sorry about that. Where did I get my necklace from? Well, somebody else here said it, Shapeways. And they also have a Pulse version that I've ordered. and it's on the way. They have different materials that you can get. This is the silver. No, I do not have Robert on. I don't usually have billionaires on except for Richard Hart. Sell. I want my discount. Now that is the right attitude. You all know Hex is viral when people ask you how you got so many t-shirts. That is right. People get wealthy and die happy. That is not always true. Some people lose their purpose, they lose their struggle in life, and then they end up falling into degenerate behaviors, gambling or spending money on useless things. I'm of the opinion that buying Louis Vuitton stuff and Rolex is not beneficial to you at this time. I think that delaying gratification further is the move. And I think anything else is a distraction. That's how I'm living my life. It's not financial advice. You know, some people, I guess they might buy Louis Vuitton and then do better, but I really think Hex is going to do way better. $1, $10, 100 hexes in the cards and beyond. Hex is like winning the lottery in slow motion. That is right. March 21, $10. No, much higher than that. Find Hex logo pendant at shapeways.com. Exactly. I'm just scrolling up here in the comments. People have been commenting vigorously. We have an excellent live audience watching, many more watching in the replay. Apex Crypto says, "What's up, Maddie? Longtime viewer here. Recently became active in the community and wanted to thank you for the important role you play in this environment. Keep us grounded, my friend." My pleasure. I really appreciate the positive feedback. It hypes me up. Costa says, "Hi, Maddie. Thanks for the time. I imagine sudden wealth could possibly cause stress on relationships. Do you have any suggestions for what can be done with loved ones, wives, and family to prepare in advance?" That's an excellent question. I think having a plan, if history repeats or rhymes with itself, is critical. And that plan, it can be executed on critically before the price of Hex moons from where you bought it at. And so you'll see one thing with all the OG Hexicans, and honestly, I hate to even say that, because if you're getting in now, you're an OG. But that being said, people who bought Hex at magnitudes lower than it is now, right? They had to choose what their plan would be. And holding liquid bags with a 10,000X was not the move. That's painful. I would not do that. So a lot of us, we staked hard and we set up a ladder, and we have Hex coming out every year or every month or whatever time frame, right, our gas prices could afford. Now the game, it keeps changing, but the one thing we know is that it takes a lot of pressure off of the sudden wealth syndrome if you're staked out for 15 years, if you have a stake coming out every year. So that would be one piece of advice, I would say. Having conversations with loved ones, you know, I've had those conversations, and, you know, sometimes people, they believe the hopium, or they believe in the math and the product of Hex being different than every other crypto. But for a lot of people, they're not going to understand. So my advice for that would be not to make people understand. It's okay to Take your time with other people understanding. Be patient. I know for me, I am obsessed with predicting the future of Hex, with understanding human behavior when it comes to this macro psychology behavior, the financial technology space. And it's hard. It's really hard to understand and have a vision for what's going to happen in the future and to predict things correctly. And other people don't agree. Other people don't see it, right? And they don't understand. And so one of my strongest pieces of advice to you would be to connect with other people in the Hex community who have your same level of understanding of Hex, whatever that could be, right? And a lot of times I measure it by how long people have been in. I know for me, being in, like measuring how long I've been in compared to other Hexicans matches me up really well with our philosophy on Hex, right? That's why I'm flying all around the world, all around the country, meeting up with other Hexicans who have the same, vision that I do, that Hex is going to be even bigger. It's going to be another 1000x, another millionx, right? It's going to revolutionize things. And we have documentary crews, multiple Netflix style documentary crews chasing us down. They see something too. So don't get discouraged if the people you love don't yet understand Hex. I like to say that there are two types of people in the world: people who understand Hex now and people who will understand Hex in the future. If you find yourself in one category, it's okay to be patient. It's okay to let people ask whatever questions they have, or to not ask any questions at all and let time do its job. Because Hex, it's a time deposit. And I know personally, I'm going to try to do everything I can to help people understand the power of Hex and understand the power of paying your future self. Another activity that you might do, if you can afford it at this time, would be to have your loved one go through the act of staking $50 or $100 5, 10, or 15 years into the future. That's why I created tshare.io or tshare.app, right? Goes to the same place. It's a front end for Hex that allows people to play a silly 15-second crane game that helps them decide whether they want a small, medium, or large size stake. And that corresponds to 5, 10, or 15 years. What I've seen is that people who experience the act of paying your future self, that they are better prepared to understand why Hex is so powerful. Because what we have in Hex, it's a system where no new supply is being created that's not being given to the people who delay gratification the longest in the system. And we have benevolent whales. We have people not rug pulling. And honestly, that's unheard of in the crypto space, right? I mean, for Pete's sake, Bitcoin has the design of Bitcoin is having miners dump the price constantly in order to keep the system honest. Imagine if you had a proof of stake system like Hex, where the system is kept honest through external security from Ethereum, not ongoing, more than the fact that the Hex smart contract is locked in a block of Ethereum that was launched in 2019. So there are not other products like this in crypto. I know that there are a lot of things that I don't want to promise yet, but I have some really, really cool ideas for how people can continue to practice paying their future selves. And even if you're somebody or you know somebody, perhaps your loved one, who doesn't yet understand the power of that, I believe that we can create tools to help that person as well. I believe that on the base layer of Hex, people will be able to do staking in a way that reduces user error, because really in Hex, there are all kinds of user errors that occur. You have people who don't protect their private seed words and get scammed. You have more prevalent than that, you have people who lose their private seed words and then their stakes bleed out. You also have people who underestimate the power of Hex and how high it can go. So all of these types of user errors, I believe that can be corrected by programmable money and by programming mental health into money. And if you're lost, good. I'm not trying to give away all the alpha all in one shot, but when it comes to talking to loved ones, I would say help them tip their toes into the community. The community is a really powerful effect. And, you know, maybe let them see the paper gains, maybe not. It depends on how big the paper gains are and how prepared they are, right? So take it on a case-by-case basis. And in general, I would say, do not tell everybody that you know how much your crypto is worth all at once. You want to take it piece by piece, person by person, and really understand how that affects your relationships. Because what I see with Sun and Well syndrome, with people becoming detached from others and not being grounded anymore, is because people have a really kind of egotistical attitude, you know, kind of like I was right and everybody else was wrong. And that is an effect of isolation. And so all you have to do, right, is, you know, practice being humble, practice an attitude of gratitude, and then, you know, really stake long and fat, right, as Hodl Dog would say, and really just find what strategy works for you and then update that as it goes, right? For me, I was happy having enough Hex liquid to live 1 year or half a year, right? And I've said that publicly on the channel. The problem is the price of Hex keeps going up, and it's a good problem to have. That means that I need to adjust my strategy, because having too much liquid Hex for me makes me uncomfortable. And so it doesn't mean spending the Hex. Oftentimes it means creating quarterly stakes, making sure I'm rebuying my T-shares to create my 16th year, my 16th step of the ladder, now that Hex is over 1 year old. So I think there's a lot of things people can do to prepare in advance, and I hope that's helpful. Shout out to the 210 people who are watching live right now. I know I'm broadcasting internationally, and the production quality might not be as great as usual. And it's also 4 o'clock in the morning here, but I'm not going to miss Hex Therapy after getting close to almost a year of doing it every week on Thursdays. So shout out to everybody who's been following. That being said, because it is 4:15 a.m., I am going to grab some water And I'm going to play this clip while I'm doing that. Thanks for sticking around. That was our mid-episode break. And the water bottle that I'm drinking definitely doxes my location. So I'm not going to do that. Is it now is asking, does buying Hex and staking in the Staker app save in gas fees over starting in Coinbase with ETH and moving to Metamask and staking that way? That really depends on how congested the ETH network is. And I know that that's a complex answer that you don't want to hear, which is just how it is. I mean, there are advantages and disadvantages of using the Staker app. I would recommend starting with what's most comfortable for you and then diversifying from there. I've done both. I have staked Hex using the Staker app. I've bought and staked Hex using tshare.app. And I've also done it using Metamask and go.hex.com. So any of those methods I think are useful. And at any given time, it's hard to say which one is going to do the best. Staker has some protections built in, like replay protections so that the transaction doesn't get stuck. You might pay a slightly higher gas fee for that, but the fact is you're not going to get a failed transaction, which is going to cost you an arm and a leg, basically. You know, a failed transaction these days, it can cost $20 that you're never going to get back. So at the end of the day, I think you do your best, right? With whatever you were introduced to. And that's what I would recommend. And then diversifying from there. So this is T-shirt app. HexTherapy.live. Good question. Richard said Hex will 50x in 108 days. I did not hear him say that, and he does not make forward price predictions. So he might have said it could have, but he may have been talking about previous performance. Are those cherries on your shirt? Please do share. Oh yeah, I wear exclusively Brazilian jerseys now because I'm retired and I can do what I want, and you can buy them pretty cheap on eBay. Yeah. What else do you need to know? Hello, HP Morgan. When Pulse goes for sale, can I sell my Hex and exchange it for Pulse? Or do I have to sell Hex for USDC and trade it for Pulse? Well, I guess it depends what the bridges look like and what the exchanges look like. But I would guess you could probably trade directly between Pulse, Hex, and Pulse. And I would not recommend being a trader because traders get wrecked. Now, this is not financial advice, and I have already invested in both Hex and Pulse Chain. So I really can't tell you what to do, and I don't know which one is going to do better. The founder of Hex and Pulse Chain also does not know which one would do better, so I don't feel too bad. Hopefully that's helpful. Let's see. Yes, I love this saying that I heard the other day. It was, in Hex, we are millionaires creating millionaires without exploiting others. I think that that's really important. And the idea, now you might ask, how's that possible? I think how that is possible is because we are training ourselves to delay gratification to the optimum point that we can, personally and beyond. And so when you imagine the total value of what Hex could be worth in the future, I would set the upper limit at the maximum GDP of the world times 15.2 years. That's a lot, because we're talking like derivatives markets, all that could flow into Hex. And one of the most awesome things that I can't even say that. There have been so many awesome things I've gotten out of my conversations with Steph tonight. One of the things really that he impressed upon me was being able to say, I don't know, on a live stream, and the respect that that can garner from the type of audience that we have here, the type of people who respect when somebody says that they don't know something. So there are a lot of things that I don't know in Hex, and I'm trying to figure them out just like you are. I'm trying to understand how, how Pulse Chain is going to create liquidity pools that are optimized against Ethereum. I'm pretty sure Pulse is going to suck all the value off of Ethereum very quickly. But I can't tell you exactly how, and that's okay. I don't know. But, I think the more that we discuss, personally, I'm an auditory thinker. So when I say things out loud, then it helps me understand them better. So we're all along for the ride, and I think we're all enjoying it so far. So welcome to the Magic Carpet Ride. Welcome to the party. If you're new, I'm glad you're here talking about Hex and Pulse. Hex doubles on average every 47 days. That's right. Hey, Mark Ravelli. Hey, Jimmy Diamond. Good to see you guys. Appreciate y'all. I understand. I guess what I'm wondering is if there are less transfers were required to buy with debit card and staker app and stake than doing it without the app. I want to say it's going to come out to about the same, but it really depends how much money you're moving. So we would need more information, and that is part of the complexity that I believe can get people stuck. And so at the end of the day, stop trying to play the best strategy and just do the thing that makes the most sense for you because you trust it, right? Or because you know other people who have gone that route. I mean, a lot of people, they get stuck when they try to onboard on Coinbase. They get stuck for a week or two because Coinbase holds on to their funds and doesn't let them transfer. It's hard for me to say whether you should go with that or try to go with another exchange that maybe is not going to hold your funds. Maybe they will, right? At the end of the day, I know that Staker App, they're doing the right thing. They're providing a good product. tshare.app is also optimized to help people who might not have such an easy time with Staker App, right? So we have a way through Metamask to allow people to buy with Apple Pay. It doesn't work for every user, but for the people it works for, it's like double clicking the side button and boom, you have some Ethereum. Now you can trade it for Hex. It's pretty cool. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think what a lot of people say is they onboard through Gemini to USDC. They don't pay any fees there. They can transfer it out relatively quickly if the KYC goes through. And then you're just dealing with one MetaMask swap fee and then your staking fees. I mean, with that being said, reach out to other people in the community who have done Staker App trades and MetaMask trades more recently than I have. I am onboarding people in my own way. And so for a lot of people in my personal life, I'm gifting them a little taste of Hex, a little $50 here and there. And so I'm eating the fees and I'm, doing the work. Sometimes it's, sometimes I'm gifting $100 worth of Hex, but that's enough to get people started because I built T-Share app to help people so I didn't have to walk them through. And then Ethereum, kind of shit the bed and made fees super high. So now I want to send people Hex without causing them to get these super high swap fees. So there's a lot of different strategies that can be used. At the end of the day, I tell my testimonial how I made, I made a lot of gains off of Ethereum, even though I paid a 40% fee. So if you're paying less than a 40% fee and getting into Hex, I know it's not the best play and I know you don't want to hear it, but, waiting and not getting into Hex because of a 5% versus a 2% fee or, a 10% fee or even a 30% fee if you're only putting in $100 or $200 when we've doubled 13 times and gone up 10,000x. So that's my analysis. Oh, wow. Mount Coiner, congratulations. Heading into the delivery room now. A new Hexakin will be born within the hour. Congratulations. Shout out to you. I really appreciate people who I recognize your username. I recognize your profile picture because you've been with Hex Therapy for so many months. I was going to say so many years. Long way to go to become a millionaire, Hexakin, but I can't wait till that day. And I think it's hopefully going to come sooner than you expect. And I hope that until then, you can continue to build your delayed gratification, build your staking ladder if that's what you're doing. I recommend people start out, although this is not financial advice, how I would start out now would be a 15-year stake, a 10-year stake, a 5-year stake, and then keeping some liquid. And those would be 4 steps of the ladder. And then I would fill in the ladder after that. So I'd do a 14-year stake, 13, 12, 11, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. What if there were multi-sig stakes in Hex? You could stake Hex with a group of friends, and it would incentivize the group to stay close for years and not disappear. Yes. That's a very good idea that has already been implemented in some kind of like not good ways with a certain hourglass game that will not be named, because I don't want people, I don't want 10% of people to go look it up and then half of those people get scammed. But we've already seen that. And I think it could also be used for good. So I really support your idea there. Does anyone else have their eyes bleed for so long to see the Hex chart? I think so, yeah. When PHEX comes out, would it affect EHEX like a stock split works in traditional markets? Well, we don't know. We know that normally when forks happen, like in Bitcoin, like in Ethereum, like in anything, the sum of the two parts end up adding up to more than the original whole. But that's not guaranteed, right? Really depends on the user behavior. And so my prediction is that it's going to be a shit show at the beginning. And if you're not holding strong and if you're not staked, you are going to get shaken. And you might get shaken out, because I could see PHEX outperforming and then suddenly it dumps and EHEX outperforms, and all of this could be designed to get all of that weak-handed Hex off the market. I would prefer that people wise up ahead of time and do themselves the favor of staking for a year or 15 years or however long you want. And then you won't be tempted to gamble with your funds. You're already getting copies on both chains. So I hope that answers the question. I'm not exactly sure. We don't know what the value will be. Richard said he doesn't want to see any cheap Hex anywhere. He also said today in his stream that he thinks PHEX will outperform, but he doesn't know. Please do post on Twitter. I love that. Just got here from Balliet Brand and R2Rs live. Right on. Shout out to Balliet Brand for the raid. I need therapy to stop buying Hex. Well, if you delay gratification too much, you might die because you're not buying food. So chill on that and make sure to take care of yourself. Listen, I myself lived a very scarce lifestyle for multiple years in order to save up enough money on my weak ass salary working, with individuals who are on Medicaid. And so I did not work with therapy clients who would pay me the most. I worked with therapy clients who would pay me the least, because I believed those were the people that needed the most help. And so I feel your struggle. I do not know what your struggle is, but I've, I've spent a lot of time doing therapy with people who really had nothing, and myself, I delayed gratification to a great extent, and so I respect you for doing so. I'd encourage you, and at the same time, don't push yourself too far, because I know it feels like a sprint, and I would say work smarter, not harder, is another piece of advice that really makes sense in this stage. I would love to see Hex advisors down the road in all the cities, helping people who aren't tech savvy. I would like to see that as well. Okay, so thank you for the $5 super chat. I think I was behind so far that maybe you didn't see that I just addressed that. Hex is quickly making up for all the times I got wrecked this year. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that you got wrecked so many times. Crypto is a brutal, scammy place. I'm glad you found something that you like better. Yeah, I think for a lot of people, understanding Hex is not the way to go. People should get Hex before they understand it, and that's why I gift it to people and I don't explain it. In my personal life, they can watch the show. They can watch the playlist that I have at HexContract.com, and that's going to walk people through these 10-minute. Sorry, it's 3 videos in 10 minutes that explains Hex 3 different times. And that's, I found that to be extremely helpful for people. Congratulations on getting your first Quattro Cinco stake done. Well done. Do I think Hex will go another 10,000x from here? I've said that I think it will do another 1,000x. But I've always been wrong because Hex just goes way higher than we can imagine. So, I mean, I did some Excel spreadsheets back in the early days, back in the first 100, 200 days of Hex, and I was like, predicting based on market cap, I was like, well, it's not going to go higher than like Bitcoin. And so I was way off. I did not think it would, but then we started looking at the math, right? That was before the math came out. That was back when, you were barely getting 5% for staking for a year, right? Early days of Hex, the game has changed since then. Good question. All good in staker app. Now need to figure out my second stake. If I ladder, or should I even still Quattro Cinco, then a few smaller ones before November if I can save anything. Yeah, I mean, it really depends, like in your own situation, how quickly you need the money and what your situation is. When DeLorean picks, I've got DeLorean picks ready, I think. Yeah, here. You want DeLorean picks? All right, bet. I will show you the DeLorean that I bought and now have the title to, that is in the top 5% of DeLoreans, of like well-preserved DeLoreans in the world, of which less than 10,000 were made. I did not buy this DeLorean because I worship cars or because I'm obsessed with Back to the Future, although paying your future self that is part of my platform, and it is part of mental health, and that is why I bought the car. So I am going on the Hex US road trip, and I can't wait to see Hexicans, in person all around the country. I'm happy to, provide the Back to the Future car, for people to take pictures with, to imagine, thanking your past self for investing in Hex, or thanking your future self for sending money through time locking. So okay, so this is, I'm not zooming in on the wrong screen. Okay, so this is my DeLorean, the DeLorean that I bought, that's being like totally fixed up now so that all the problems with DeLoreans go away. Yeah, it's freaking beautiful. It's so well preserved. This is a 41-year-old car. Amazing. And then here's like how it looked in the movie, which obviously the doors go up. I'm not sure if I'm going to do all this. They sell kits. The kits aren't very good. And the whole point is this isn't the movie. It'd be okay if it had all this cool gear stuff. But to me, I already spent enough money. So hopefully I get my point across. And if not, maybe other people can throw down, or we can upgrade it eventually. But my point is, it's a DeLorean. It looks like Back to the Future. It's got the doors that swing up, and it's a good symbol for paying your future self. And that's my platform for mental health. Yes. And then I've got a vanity license plate coming. And then this is also part of promoting the road trip and cross-promoting the Hex community. I can't wait to see everybody who's a Hex streamer streaming all in one place again for the second annual Hex conference. So get your ticket at HexConference.com. And well, it's actually HexTicket.com to get the ticket. Only a limited number of tickets will be sold, and every Tuesday night we release a new batch. They've been selling out, and so it's really exciting. It's something you should check out. You can learn more at HexConference.com. You can buy your ticket at HexTicket.com. Wow, I keep getting further behind in the comments, which is really good for so much participation. Wow, we lost comments. If 50K was the BTC top, that means Maddie's theory about Richard owning all the Bitcoin was correct. Yeah, well, I hope people listen to my crazy theories, because some of them have been super accurate. Thank you for recognizing that. True Hexican never sells his Hex, even if it's on Ethereum or Pulse. Turtles only. You make an excellent point. I think each person is different. And, if nobody's sold their Hex, I don't think anybody could buy Hex for such a good price as it's trading right now. For me, the way I look at it is, I know the price of Hex is going up. And so if I have to sell a little bit of my interest in order to promote Hex more, because make no mistake, if I didn't have a YouTube show, I would be way richer. When we're looking at these 10,000x returns, even 100x, right? The computer that I stream with, all the streaming gear, if I spent $5,000 on streaming equipment, right? That adds up really quick. That's $500,000. And I knew the price was, and that's just what the price is today. I knew the price was going to go up, and I helped pump your bags and sold you my hex for cheaper than I thought it was worth. So I know it was only $5,000 worth of hex they were talking about, but to me and to you, that's $500,000 worth of hex if you're coming in brand new. So I give respect to people who sell their hex just as much as I give respect to people who are buying it. Although I feel bad if you're selling hex and not acknowledging that it's a sacrifice. If you're not sacrificing it for the community, if you're being selfish, you know, I mean, there might be room for that too, right? But at the end of the day, I think to each his own. No judgment here. If you want to give people cheap hex, go ahead. If not, then be a buyer, you know? Super excited about Vegas and the tour leading up to it. Absolutely. I'm super excited too. I use cold storage too, just use Trezor, and they're two means to the same end. Very good. I have the same Brazil training jersey, but in black. Oh, that's very cool. I will have to look for it in black. Does it have the cherry on it? Does it say this? Okay, so this is a Brazilian bank, and I'm pretty sure they're evil, but it's ironic. So shout out to you. Are you from Brazil? Yeah, getting a Trezor, I mean, it's kind of a tough call, right? Because it's hard to invest in, and I feel that it's hard to invest in like $100 device whenever you're only putting $100 or $1,000 into hex, and you know that $100 in the past, it turned into $1 million. That's a really expensive hardware wallet. So I don't blame people for but at the same time, if you're putting $1,000 in, you don't want to lose, right? A whole $10 million because you're trying to protect, you know, that $1 million. So I feel the pain. I feel it. The best I can do for this one, because security trade-offs, they're so individualized, they're so gridlocked, they're so dynamic. That's why I want to put together a panel for the Hex conference to give people so many different opinions that they can choose what they think is right for them. I know it's not coming soon enough, but I would even like to have workshops ahead of the Hex conference so that the presenters, so they can get some practice, they can show what they have to offer, and, you know, we can be building content that gives people that base layer of security, because security is extremely important. At the same time, getting into Hex early is also super important. So you're going to take your own risk. It's going to be on you. Just like it was a risk on anybody else who's gotten into Hex, right? Like, we've all had to make those security trade-offs. So my recommendation, ask for many different opinions. Go to t.me/hexsecurity, ask around in there, but never believe anybody who personally messages you on Telegram. I'm in Albuquerque. Paul Chavez. Who can I connect with here that will be welcoming the Hex Tour? I would like you to reach out to the Rainmaker, who is coordinating the different stops. And so I'm going to drop the link here in the description. It's t.me/Rainmaker, the number 4, and then real. So that's how you can get a hold of Rainmaker, who's with FreedomTV.info. And I think you guys can already see like the pinned, but I'm gonna drop it again. Is t.me/hex conference. Then .com. When Hex Citadels formed, I can do real estate, a portion in Massachusetts. Insert Evil Morty song. Very good, very good. I am excited about the idea of Hex Citadels because I think it gives people the idea of security, which is important. I worry that it's like bougie and it's like keeping other people out. I would like to have a more, inclusive view, but at the same time, I respect security. So that's a good principle. I don't mind the Citadel. I don't care if you hate me for it, but when, let's talk again when Hex is $100. I think we're going to have a lot of Citadels going up. On regards about trading Hex for Pulse, I went all in Hex back in January. Money is tight at my household. So if trading Hex for Pulse will wreck me, what do you suggest I do? I suggest you do your own research, make your own decisions. Each person will be gambling if they're trying to trade. Timing the market, like if you're not going for the longest time you can, then that's difficult. Again, I would say see what you can do to earn extra money, to work smarter, not harder. I recognize, though, jobs are not paying what they should. And so I feel for you if money is tight in your household. Now, all I can say is, people who are doing the best in Hex probably are the ones who have had really tight finances for a while. And that, that helps overall. So I would say educate yourself more and get more opinions and then make your own decision. And for me, I like to think that having Hex now and staking it and then getting a copy on Pulse and Ethereum, that's the move. I think that, again, the price is going to swing around a lot and it's going to shake people out who aren't staked. And I would recommend staking, again, a 15-year, a 10-year, a 5-year, some liquid. And then if money is tight, you might go with a 12-month, or you've already got a 5 years and liquid. So then you could do like a 1 year or a 2-year stake plus, a 4-month or 6-month stake. It really just depends on your situation. The reason why you're not staking daily is because of the Ethereum fees right now are too high to be able to profit from that usually. My initial investment in Hex has grown tremendously, but if I don't continue to infuse it with paper cash, how can I grow my profit? My plan was to exchange it for Pulse. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to continue to infuse it for it to keep going up in value. But you might not be at the point where you can live off the interest. And so what I would say is wait longer if you can. So, the people who got into Hex on day 1 did not do as well as the people on day 33. Nobody knew that. Nobody knew that would be the case. If people knew that, then they would have bought on day 33 instead of day 1 and then it would have been the same situation where people didn't know which day would be the best. So sometimes it's just waiting. It's not buying more. Some people will buy more and just do liquid, but to each his own. I get it. I'm the big prize, but getting new people with small bags, these are the questions I'm getting. Sure. Look, I mean, we didn't have anybody holding our hand. We didn't have anybody speaking the truth except for Richard when we started, you know, in the first year of Hex, in the first month of Hex, right? We had the opposite. We had a lot of people telling us that we were fucking up, a lot of people telling us lies about Hex. So I understand that people feel like they missed out. You are still in the first 100,000 people to stake Hex. Hex is an IQ test. It's a patience test. All it takes is a small bag to get rich in Hex if you wait long enough. That's what we've seen so far, and we don't know if that's going to be true in the future. But the value proposition looks pretty good to me because people want a way to force delayed gratification on themselves and make more Hex. So I'm glad you're getting those questions because those are critical thinking questions. And that probably tells you people with small bags, they need probably to participate more in the community and educate themselves more. Because if they're not completely certain as to what Hex is going to do, they need to watch Whales Only. They need to watch Quant Gang. They need to look at the clips on Twitter that we've been posting, Kareem and I. There's so much good content where people can educate themselves and get more certain on what they're going to get, which is you stake Hex, you're going to get trustless interest. And that's a sweet, sweet thing. And y'all are super lucky because we didn't know Hex was going to do so well. Like nobody did. It was really the opposite. So will the airdrop include the Binance chain? I think Binance is doing their own split with the system state or Pancake Swap or something. So we're just going to get lots of copies of Hex on lots of different chains, as far as I know. But I don't spend my time worrying about like smaller use cases, right? Like Bitcoin split into Bitcoin Diamond, Bitcoin Green, Bitcoin Rhodium, Bitcoin, like literally anything you could think of. Even Bitcoin Hex was one of the things that Bitcoin like had a UTXO output for. So not all of them were valuable. And we'll see. Dharma, you can buy directly and lock in the current price. I've heard that from other people. I have not used it. Remember, Hex is not for traders. Traders will always sell low and buy back later when the price goes up. Traders lose. Correct. Hex is meant to make new whales, and the price going down is a feature, not a bug. There's price volatility in Hex to transfer value from the patient. To transfer value from the impatient to the patient, from people who buy tops and sell bottoms. That value is transferred to people who buy bottoms and sell tops or stake tops. Staker app is easiest for no coiners probably. Have you tried tshare.app? If you have Apple Pay, it's just like boop boop. Staker app is like really good too. We literally had the founder of Staker app on earlier. Staker app has tens of thousands of users, and T-Share app does not. So I would say check them both out. And if you're OG, you can go to go.tshare.app and check out the awesome stats that we have. It's read only. You do have to connect your wallet. I must be in good standing with Coinbase because they allow me to use and send the money even before it hits my Coinbase account. Very good. Hello. I gift people I onboard also. It's amazing to be able to do it. Respect. I did Coinbase for starters. It was slow, but after a couple transactions, it was pretty quick. I've onboarded a couple of Canadians, and that was awesome with low fees. Very good. I am my own bank. Represent. Is there a dollar value at which a swap is a real risk of causing a wick and getting screwed? Yeah, it depends what you define as getting screwed. Right now, I think there's only like 30 million hex on the automated market maker. And so if you tried to do, I don't know, like a $5 million buy, you would probably push the price against yourself like 20 or 30 or 40%. But it would be better to set a limit order and then you'd be straight. So if you're trying to buy more than $10 million of hex or more than $1 million, then yeah, like DM somebody and DM a bunch of people and find out who's trusted and do your own research and set limit orders. If you're doing $1,000 or $10,000, it shouldn't move it'll tell you how much it's going to move the price against you. It'll tell you before you do the swap on decentralized exchanges. You just want to make sure you have the right hex. Like, don't get like a scam coin that you're buying. Pulse chain will make life just great. Yes, it will. Pay the gas. Trust me. Good advice. Quattro Cinco. I use Coinbase too, and always use Metamask. I got Staker app wallet too. We can even connect our Metamask. Bang, bang. Is it bad if I stake 70% of my hex? Absolutely not. Although it depends on your financial situation. I can tell you that I'm staked 97 to 99%. Buy hex on Alchemist. Okay, I have not heard of that one. With hex, all that matters is T-shares. You can have hex, but only have T-shares if you stake it. Talk about it. Absolutely. I mean, people who have staked hex, they've done 75 or 80% better than people who did not. And we're only at 1.75 years. So get with the program, unless you're just playing price appreciation, and it's not been the best strategy with Bitcoin or anything else. Multi-sig stake in hex sounds cool. Absolutely. Besides hex, are there any known ERC20s that are going to support their PRC20 version? Yeah, I just don't know which ones. Again, I'm going to give the I don't know answer instead of being a furu and pretending like I know. If anybody else has the answer, I'd love to hear it. So many ways to be your own bank, your own monetary reserve. Your passion, intelligence, and curly hair, clarity made me a convert. I so appreciate your post, 4 a.m. live YouTube. It speaks volumes to your integrity. Side note, yes, for the fitted suit jacket. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the positivity. I know that a lot of people on YouTube, not just myself, really get motivated by hearing positive feedback. And so the more, Hexicans can support each other, the better. And it's really motivating and energizing to hear that we are making a difference. And that's what we're trying to do. That's the goal here. So I am excited that you're benefiting from this. Mixed Music Arts. Hi, I just went all in on Hex 2 weeks ago. Right on. Well, welcome to the party, as Richard would say. All Sal. What was Kareem alluding to when he mentioned in the last live stream that if we have Hex sitting in MetaMask instead of using the Staker app, we may miss out? Was Kareem hinting that Staker app could do like a token in the future or an airdrop? A long time ago, Steph said that they weren't going to do that. Although I haven't asked him in a long time. And I think Randy Hilarski was saying that it would make a lot of sense for Staker app to do it. I've not heard anything. Personally, I mean, you're gonna hear the truth from me. I'm gonna lay it down. I think I have 2 Staker app wallets, right? So I paid like an extra $20 or $30 when gas fees were low to get a second account, because I used to try to chase airdrops. Like I spent way too much gas creating a bunch of different MetaMask accounts with transactions in them to try to game a future airdrop after we got the Uniswap airdrop and the 1-inch airdrop and some other ones that I missed. So my opinion has changed a little bit. I am not chasing airdrops because I see the power of what Hex can do. With that being said, play your own strategy. Love people supporting each other in the chat. Congrats. Welcome aboard your future self. Thanks you. Respect. I'm keeping both eHex and pHex staked and a little liquid long term. Excellent strategy. Do you still get copies if you stake in the Staker app instead of MetaMask? Yes. Because with Staker app, you hold your own keys. That's a situation where you will get a copy on the Pulse chain and any other chain that emerges probably. Whereas if you hold your coins on a centralized exchange, like Hotbit is an exchange. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. It's centralized, so you don't hold your own keys, and they're going to probably charge more for Hex than you can buy it on the open market. I don't think you'd get your copy in that case if a centralized exchange is holding your keys. Laddering stakes for monthly release. Very good. So should you keep your pHex? I am going to keep my pHex. Yes. Thank you, All Sal, for the $1.99 super chat. I appreciate it. You rock. What was Kareem alluding to? Okay, yeah. I don't mind if people repeat the question more than once if it's been a long time and I haven't mentioned it. I think I answered that. What's the cheapest way to move money from Exodus wallet to MetaMask? Currently have BTC and want to buy or stake more Hex. Good question. I am not familiar with Exodus wallet. I've heard of it, but I have no idea what the fee structure is. There used to be a really complicated way to convert BTC into ETH into Hex. There was like renproject.io, but with gas fees being what they are now, I would look to see if you can cheaply convert on Exodus wallet or on, like whatever, if that is an exchange, if they do swaps on Exodus wallet, I would see if you can get a good swap for ETH and then transfer to MetaMask and then swap to Hex on matcha.xyz, which I don't think is going to take Bitcoin. It's just going to take Ethereum or USDC, but you have to have Ethereum you have to have a little bit of Ethereum to run a swap with USDC to Hex, which is the most liquid pair. So you might get a fraction of a better price, but at the end of the day, ETH is going to be okay. So I would see if I could swap for ETH on that wallet and then send to MetaMask, because you can't send Bitcoin to MetaMask. Smash the like and subscribe. Absolutely. I'm going to do 90,000 short stakes with PX and 180, 365 plus long stakes with EX. That is way more possible, I think, if you're paying a penny per transaction on Pulse. And I'm super curious your number. You're saying 90,180. I'm going to divide that by 365 and see if I get. That's more than one stake per day. I'm not sure I'd recommend that. To each his own. Wish I knew you when I was a kid. That's what's up. Can you import your Exodus wallet to MetaMask? It still uses Exodus wallet on the back end settings. So I wouldn't recommend that if you have Bitcoin in there, because I don't think the Bitcoin would transfer to Ethereum. I am communicating from 2021, although once I get the DeLorean here pretty soon, no promises. Do you think Hex will do another 10,000x from here? I think it could do 1,000x, and I've been traditionally wrong to the downside. Inviting Freedom, good to see you. Super excited. You can also go to renbridge.io. I think we can 10x before the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, Hex the price has already gone parabolic, and we're not viral yet. It's been slow growth to 60,000 stakers. So your guess is as good as mine. Do they sell Hex body kits? They should. If it's Hex rewarded, and this question helps people who may have missed the hint, that's the whole reason for asking. Right on. People are going to steal your DeLorean and go back and buy Hex January 5th, 2020. Well, they're going to have to beat me to it, because I'm definitely going back there too. I do not yet have proof that I am not the God whale who has traveled back in time knowing exactly what would happen next. You heard it here first. Keep it OG. Right on. Should I book a hotel for the conference now? Not yet. Do join t.me/Hex conference and check out the stream every other Saturday with T Money and myself. Thank you so much for saying that the real life DeLorean analogy, pay yourself in the future, is brilliant. I appreciate that. Wrapped DeLorean would be tight, can do some cool things, always unwrap it. Yeah, I'm hearing like people say I should wrap it, people say I shouldn't wrap it. It's definitely gonna be advertising Hex and paying your future self. That's all I can say at this point. And if anybody out there like has connections for decals and stickers and all that kind of stuff, I know FreedomTV.info will help me out, but if you have even better, that'd be great. Yeah, I mean, we're out here, like as Nagabo would say, we're out here in these crypto streets, you know, and I'm trying to make a difference. So there we are. That is absolutely correct. I did not delay gratification buying the car. Yes, I think I've made that clear. I even said that it was a sacrifice because I knew the price of Hex was going up and I knew I was giving people opportunity to buy. So not sure what else I can do. I'm literally pumping everybody else's bags myself. Like, so you are correct. I appreciate your humility, ongoing support with all aspects of our health and wellness, and of course, your insights into Hex and Pulse. A smart dolphin from Australia. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Pay it forward. Exactly. I'm not in Brazil, but I do like Brazil. I'm connected to Brazil. Check out Lassie Cash one day. I love Pulse and Hex. Right on. I appreciate that. Trezor or Ledger? I have not been happy with Ledger lately. So I think I'm going to order a Trezor. But to each his own. I mean, it really depends on what, you know, like what ports you're like. If your computer doesn't have USB ports anymore, then you're going to feel kind of silly ordering this whole thing and then you plug it in to an adapter that may or may not be secure. Although I've never heard of an adapter like stealing somebody's crypto, it's just kind of a silly thing to me. I like things being designed well, and I'm spoiled because of Hex. And so now it's just complaining and bitching until somebody makes something better. Does T-share price affect one way or another when to stake? Go to hexcontract.com and watch 10 minutes worth of videos. You'll see 3 different videos in 10 minutes. It is a playlist that I have prepared for you and others. Pay the fees and get rich, or don't and don't. Okay, I just want to say, like, because this is Hex Therapy, like, that needs to be said. And we want to be empathic for people, like, you know, figuring it out. Because I don't know. I mean, for me, I didn't even know about the community when I started in Hex, so I couldn't get fudded out. I couldn't really ask questions. I was just like left to my own devices. So, you know, it's just the more support you can get, the better. So being supportive of each other and telling people when they just need to know, like, yeah, pay the fees and get rich, or don't and don't, right? I took out my original investment on the double, regret that now. You know, I had somebody really like kind of recommending to me, like, oh yeah, like once it doubles, just take that out. I'm glad I didn't listen to them, but I know that that's really common advice. And so, I mean, listen, if we knew then what we know now, of course we would all have bigger bags. But, you know, Richard says each raindrop doesn't think he's the storm, which means if everybody could go back in time, then the price wouldn't have been so cheap in the past because everybody would be buying it up. So when you took out your original investment, that showed where you were at the time. And that's okay for you to be so much more advanced now. I would focus on the positive because you're still so early. I understand that people look back and say, oh shit, I missed the 10,000x. And they are thinking that it's not as likely for Hex to do another even 100x or 1000x, right? That's faulty thinking. That's not necessarily true. Price discovery in a exponential parabolic curve, like, it boggles the mind. So don't kick yourself too much if that's not useful. If it's useful for you to kick yourself, then go ahead, I guess. But whatever works for you to do now, right? What you can't change the past, you can't go back in time. Now is still an opportunity that can be missed because you're licking your wounds instead of moving forward with the knowledge that you have now. So just do your best. That's what we're all doing. I use thought stopping to tell myself no mentally and to change the thoughts going through my head when I do get into that negative, like, what if, right? Of like pretending like the past could have been different than it was. The truth is you were doing the best with the knowledge that you had at that time. Now you've educated yourself more. That should be celebrated. You're doing the right behavior of educating yourself, coming to a better conclusion. Don't sell yourself short. Remember, Bitcoin traded below a penny. So the real gains of the beginning people were like probably double that of the maximum. So there are some people in Bitcoin who are up 10 million X, okay? So that little 10,000 X that you missed out on, I know it seems like a lot. And I know 10,000 X or like 10 million X divided by 10,000 X is not as much as 10 million X, right? But I'm trying to do the math here. Too many zeros, too early in the morning. That's a 1000x still, okay? And that's if it only does as well as Bitcoin. Which one do you think is made better? There's another Hex Vegas trip coming. That's right. Like we have to get the fundraising and the ticket sales done early because we're renting such a huge venue. So get your tickets now if you can. I'm buying a new vehicle and we'll be joining the Florida stretch and probably drive to the Vegas conference. That's so awesome. I believe that a lot of people are going to do that. A lot of people are going to FOMO into the tour and they're going to show up at the conference. And I hope you get your ticket early. Respect. Security is for our mental health. Absolutely. Wow. So many good comments. I really appreciate you all. Got on late today, but love the live streams. Good to see you. Actual feelings? HexTicket.com. Not from Brazil, but live there. 2013 to 2014. Respect. Will you wrap your DeLorean car in Pulse or Hex wrap? There are already cars that have been wrapped with Hex and Pulse separately that are amazing and they look incredible. I might do something different. But like I said, I want to promote Hex and paying your future self. Can you describe how to set up a cold wallet if you've already staked? Is there a workaround? There is not. Sorry to give you bad news. The good news is you're still early in Hex and you can have more than one cold wallet. Well, all right. So let's break this down a little bit more. So a cold wallet could start off as a hard. I mean, all cold wallets usually start out as hard wallets, and so yeah, you can write down the 12 or 24 word seed from a regular wallet, and then delete it after you're sure, like you're really, really sure, like you checked 20 times and then you like got enough sleep and then you checked again without anybody else seeing, without your computer being compromised. You made sure you wrote down those seed words right. You might even want to regenerate it on another computer before you delete off that one computer. And now you can be really sure that you have your backup, and then you can delete off of all the computers and just keep the paper copy written or punched into steel. And then you can get even more fancy, right? You can do a Shamir secret sharing method. You can split your seed words from one wallet into multiple pieces, and you need 2 out of 3 of the pieces to have all the words. And then you can use a Trezor or a Ledger. See, but that's where if you've already made stakes, then you can't transfer them to a different address or to a different wallet. So a lot of people, what they'll do is if they have like a lot of Hex in one account, then they'll set up a completely new account and stake from there for a little while and then set up a completely new account. So user error is the #1 way you lose your crypto. #2 error is by being hacked, by somebody telling you they're from security and they're not. #3 way is like actually being hacked. So be careful out there. Gas fees are typically lowest at certain times of the day. I buy or stake when Gwei is below 50, usually 3 to 4 p.m. where I am. Excellent advice. I would love to see a stop in Little Rock, Arkansas. I manage a hotel with plenty of room to host. That is so awesome. Please message me directly, t.me/MattyAllin, MATI ALLin, or on Twitter, MattyAllin, or on Proton Mail, MattyAllin. Those are the main ways. And then also hit up Rainmaker for real. t.me/Rainmaker 4 real. So cool. And anybody else who wants to have a Hex meetup and host it and plan it, I can't do it all by myself. The more people who help, the better. We really appreciate it. We can't guarantee that we'll be able to stop at every place, but I would love to hear from people who are willing to host, are willing to plan. The Hex community is amazing. I'm not selling Hex to buy my car. I'm selling 3 NFTs. Gang, gang. I've Hex onboarded my 62-year-old dad. Since his time preference isn't as long as mine, would you recommend he just invest in Pulse or stake for a few years? I can't say. I think I know more about Hex than Pulse because Pulse is not a finished product yet. Although I am in the game theory design chat room that Richard set up with like 80 different people to give him feedback about how to make Pulse. And Pulse is going to be really, 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 really sweet. I would say do more than one strategy. I would say do them all if you can afford it, if you don't get beat up with fees too bad. How about Cream's strategy of staking 30% for Quattro Cinco and keeping the rest liquid, and then staking more as you purchase more Hex? It's a great strategy. Yeah. I think RH might be going live shortly. Oh, that'd be awesome. How do you know that? I love disruptive technology and anti-media streams. If you're looking for new money that's truly decentralized, then become your own bank with Hex. #Hex. Hope you're well. Question: would you stake $200 if it's currently liquid, or would you wait to stake when Pulse launches for cheaper fees? Thank you. I would. That's like right at my cutoff. Okay. If you can make if I could make a stake for like $20, I think I would do that. And really, I can't justify that except for I'm burning this $20 because I don't trust myself when that $200 could turn into $2 million if we do another 10,000x. And I know that $20 in fees, is worth a lot of money too in that scenario. So that's all I would say is like I would just wait for lower gas. I would say I'm not going to pay $100 to stake. I'm not going to pay $50 to stake. Maybe my cutoff would be like $25. But again, I don't know the future. I'm predicting that Hex is going to go up so much that you're going to want that staked on both chains. But it depends what your time frame is too. So I'm sorry, I can't tell you exactly what to do. I don't even think I'm really like legally allowed to tell you exactly what to do. But that's just my thought. You can keep asking questions. I am Chilean, and here a few people know Hex. This is why I would like to make videos on YouTube in Spanish to educate the people of Latin America and these beautiful diamonds. Any recommendations? Absolutely. I recommend that you follow the channel Fire Your Boss in Spanish. So like that, you're going to have to excuse me, like Despide tu Jefe or something. And then there's Hex Spanish. So if you go to HexStreamers.com, you're going to see like a list of all the streamers in Hex. And both of those channels are going to be on the list there. So it shows me online right now. And then it shows, Despide tu Jefe. Yeah, I can drop a link. I got you. It's all good. So I'm going to drop okay. Wow, they have 16K subscribers. They're crushing it. Well done. So I'm going to drop the link there for that channel. And then we're going to go on Hex Streamers again, and we're going to look for in Hex Spanish.
¿Sí me escuchan?
And we really appreciate everybody who's streaming in every other language because that helps pump our bags. It helps onboard people who deserve to be onboarded. So respect. So I would say look at the usernames of the people who are streaming on that channel and then direct message them like on Twitter or wherever they say that they can be reached, either Telegram or Twitter, and then ask them to see if you can go on with them sometime. And then you'll learn what they do to create content, and then you might be able to create content on your own. That'd be amazing. I hate banks, love Hex, and Pulse. If Hex will do 1000x, does this mean it will be 500 Hex with P-Hex as it is on parity with Hex? I don't think that there will be parity with Hex, but there could be. We just don't know who's going to buy and who's going to sell. I think the whales are going to shake out the weak hands and then push the price higher. Anyone have a link how to move my Metamask wallet to Staker app? I don't think you can do that. But you can go on. Oh, what is that? Discord. You can go on Discord, Stay Crab, and find out about that. You hitting hotel life yet? I am hanging in there. Thanks for asking. Hey, Maddie, do you think it would be beneficial for someone pretty new to Hex to attend the Hex conference? What I'm thinking about that is that I would like to get everybody up to a medium level, up to medium speed. So I would like to see us sell out of tickets. Then I can focus my effort on creating content with the people who will present at the conference to do a basic presentation ahead of time. This is like, there's no promises. There's no work from others that you can expect. I am literally not committing to doing this. This is in the concept phase, and I'm going to need help from the community to do this. So when you all promote ticket sales, when you all, tell other content creators that you love their work and you wish that they would do like a short beginner video, right? And like link it to the Hex conference, like everything we can do together is going to be way bigger than what I can do. And so that's why the Hex conference tickets are only being sold to people who have no expectations, even though I've delivered on, I think, everything I've ever said in Hex. So I put on the first Hex conference online. I put on the first mass Hex meetup in Las Vegas. We had 350 people attend at least. And, now I'm looking to scale that with a larger team of people. So if I was new in Hex, I would go to the Hex conference for sure. 100%. ETH is expensive. Should I wait for Pulse to buy? Probably not, but I can't predict the future buys and sells of people. So I can't tell you if it's going to be good advice or not. I can tell you that in the past, people who waited to buy Bitcoin and people who waited to buy Hex, they didn't always do as well as people who just bought. Remember, you can't move staked Hex to another wallet. So if you go the non-hardware route, you'll be stuck with it for quite some time. Correct. If you have staked all of your Hex, then will it be possible to buy Pulse on launch? That is why I'm keeping some liquid Hex. If you have liquid Hex, you should be able to buy Pulse on launch. Yes. Thank you so much, JZ Hexing, for the $55.55 super chat. I love disruptive technology and anti-media truth. If you're looking for new money that is truly decentralized, then become your own bank with Hex. Get well, Maddie. I appreciate it. Yeah, very cool. And I really like your laser eyes coming out of hexagons in your eyes in your profile picture. I just noticed that. Very cool. Hex and hexagons will not dwell on problems. The hexagon solution is to fork whatever doesn't show respect. Gang, gang. Stake and chill in emojis. Awesome. Money printer goes burr, but our fake internet money is better than the government's fake internet money. Quote unquote. Richard Hart. Respect. Thanks, Maddie. ALLin, appreciate all you do and the time you take to help us out. My pleasure. I'm going hard right now, guys. I have a really big day tomorrow, but I don't want to stop answering questions. It's 5:40 a.m. We have to get the word out to those people. The exchanges will get the airdrop and they could potentially dump the price. I don't think they really have that much. But yeah, I don't think they have that much. But that's a really good point. We should probably figure out how much they have. I'm at 18% battery. 5-year Hex prediction. See, I don't want people to get wrecked by my crazy prediction. So But I don't want people to get wrecked by not hearing how high Hex can go. I mean, literally, when I said $10 with whales, $10.01, that was when the price was 0.7 of a cent. What's the X on that? You know, like. $143X. I'm gonna be super lazy and I'm just gonna say, wow. Oh shit. Okay, 5-year Hex prediction, $14,031.43. Not financial advice, not medical advice. What else do you want me to say? Bro, why are you charging so much for the meetup? Oh, I understand that, like, you know, money's tight and everything. We charged $69 for the Hex meetup because we were meeting up in places where we didn't have to pay to be there. And we included a lot of shit in there, like merch, like paying all the costs of the meetup, right? Like we actually, I mean, we did have to pay, you know, for a couple of the venues, like, but I mean, people got their value. Like, just talk to anybody who went. People got their value. So because we're scaling up, because we're renting a huge conference center for 4 whole days, we're having a giant staff of people make sure that everything goes okay. And we're serving lunch on 4 different days. And we're putting on a giant like concert. That's how much it costs. It literally costs over $500,000 to put on a giant scientific conference for 4 full days. So the question is, how are we charging so little? And it's literally because we have so many massive connections in Vegas. Like Freedom TV owns like the recycling and trash for the conference center. So without them, the conference center would like get shut down. So yeah, we're pulling in all the connections. That's all I can say is like, I respect that $369 is a lot for one ticket. But I mean, that's how much it costs. So. What do you think will happen when press goes on sale? When Pulse, probably you mean, goes on sale? Will the price dump as Hex in the first few days, or will the forum take that? It's gonna go up and it's gonna go wild. It's low liquid, like we don't know what the user behavior is gonna be yet. We don't know because like the price is a function of who's selling at any given time. So if people have doubt, then they're going to sell. There's going to be a buying opportunity, and maybe it'll go down forever, or maybe it'll go up forever, right? If you don't know, then do more research before you start gambling. Can you still sacrifice for the Pulse chain? Please watch Quant Gang with Gerardo from a week and a half ago. That should answer your question. We need more mods. All right. Ban hammers. Stranger danger. Cannot wait for Vegas. Also interested if you can still sacrifice, but I'm under the impression that it's better to buy Hex now and wait for the Pulse chain at launch. The price of sacrificing is going up 5% compound per day. So it's like going exponential. And Gerardo has great charts at lookintohex.com. Pack your bags. When is the next Vegas meetup? I'd love to go. We're going to have meetups all over the country. T.me/US road trip. And then eventually we'll go to Vegas on March 6th through 9th. And you can learn more at hexconference.com. Oh, wow, I just got it. Pay your future self. Back to the future. DeLorean. What's up? Hello, wealth. That's what's great about big sales. People get it at great prices. March 6th to 9th. Get your tickets. Very cool. Somebody's on Twitch throwing up those awesome emojis that they have on there. Pump the bags. Pack them for Vegas. No hotel blocks yet? Not yet. We do want to organize with a place that's this time going to be in walking distance of the conference center, which is very cool. Hey, where did you get that necklace? Shapeways. That is a 3D printer, and you can look up Hex. It should come up. And they also have one for Pulse Chain. Got it ordered. Hextoshi, thank you for the $55.55 super chat. I really appreciate it. You always make a difference, Maddie. Thanks for all you do, bro. My pleasure. Thank you. I got a bunch of ledgers. Going to get a Trezor. Papa recommends them. Right on. Do I need to? I need to go to. Yeah, I need to go to YouTube. Let's see here. Give me a second to. It looks like we've got some mods here. Okay, it looks like the mods are going to be doing their job. What's going on, Access Alive? Good to see you. It doesn't let me go. It doesn't let me go back very far, does it? Let's see. All right. Cool. People just don't get it. The thing is going so much higher. You're all lucky. This thing is thinly traded on a DEX. That is super correct. It also makes it easy for whales to push the price higher, which protects their dollar cost average on their staked bags. You know, it is common sense. It's also a brand new paradigm. It's something that's never existed before, like an altruistic coin launch. I think I'm catching up. Yay. Met the Rainmaker last week. My first trade. No way. First trade was supposedly 5,050 BTC for $5, 60 million X. That is wild. I do recognize your username from the past couple of weeks, so we'll take that into consideration. I got 5 Hex. I was in the AA early, left on 10x dad's kids. Took me a year to get over the pain, come back around 10 cents on a big pulse, life lessons. I wasn't ready for the huge wealth I am now. Respect. Congrats, you're still early. Got to get your private key straight before long stakes. Any workaround for stake text and ledger like nested wallets? There's not. Hello, Maddie. I want to say thank you, RH Cream, Discourse Syndicate. I followed you guys for a long time. Each time I listen to you guys, I learned something new about Hex and the crypto space. You can tell it makes me really happy. I appreciate you saying that. We need pet-friendly hotels near meetups because I can't leave my pet for a month. Respect. Thank you, David Morales, for the $55.55 super chat. Love you, Maddie. Not as much as the guy from Tuesday, but love nonetheless. LOL. Well, I am a completely different person than I was on Tuesday, if that's what you're saying. Gas fees be like $50. Not cool. Gonna need to stake for Quattro Cinco. How do you buy Pulse when launched with ETH or some stablecoin? We don't know yet, but a lot of people are buying Hex so that then they can get a copy on the Pulse chain and trade their PHEX or EHEX or stablecoins or whatever for Pulse at that time. Bro, all my stakes are 15 years. That's baller. Oh my gosh, guys. I traveled for like over 24 hours. And then I came and met with some like OG Hexicans in another country and talked Hex for hours and hours. And now I've been streaming for 2.5 hours and it is 5:53 a.m. So please come back and see me next week for another episode of Hex Therapy. I am literally tapping out. My battery is dying and I wish I could finish the rest of these questions. I'm trying so hard. I didn't get the therapy part, but now I realize the more I listen that you truly help the community keep our heads right. Thank you so much for saying that. The point of this show is to help people understand all of the benefits of paying your future self by time locking your crypto, because you will become incentivized to take better care of yourself. And when people get their financial health right, it's part of a function of getting your mental health right. So I really appreciate you saying that. It pumps me up. D'Artagnan in Kalamazoo, Michigan. By Sunday, I'll be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Right on. I really hope we get to meet up soon. Yes, and everybody can go to t.me/US road trip. You can tell I'm tired. Chat. And you can find out more about where Hex meetups will occur. You can also go to t.me/Hex meetup. That's my Telegram that is left over from the Vegas meetup, and I'm happy to send people to the right places. So thank you so much. I am literally tapping out. Tap, tap. I don't want to break anybody's eardrums. Thanks again for tuning in, everybody. And I will see you again next week. Actually, probably much sooner. We'll probably do pop-up streams. And then we're always here on Tuesdays for Quant Gang, Thursdays for Hex Therapy, every other Saturday for the Hex conference updates. And you can check out everything that I'm doing, all 50 of the links that I'm shilling, many of which are not my own, but many of which are, at allmylinks.com/allin. Almost everything I do is a link. So maddieall.in takes you to the same place. HexTherapy.live takes you to the playlist for Hex Therapy, suddenwealth.health takes you to Sudden Wealth playlist. What else? T-shirt.app. Just go to allmylinks.com/allin and stake wisely, my friends. Until next time, peace out.